Alright, I want to start by showing that there's no power going to anything. Right there in the corner is the only power supply that I have at the moment. The wires are coming down and ending right there at the edge of the desk. I will be using that amplifier in just a minute, but it's turned off. That power core I call phase 1, and that one is phase 2. In the last couple days I've gotten a lot of interaction between the two when I'm running them. Well, running one of them. Yesterday the video I was only supplying power to that one, and that one was being affected, and the tests that I've run since then and before then but didn't show in the video yesterday, it's been the same thing. The circuits for this one are right there and right there at the edge of the desk, and then the circuits for that one are right there in the center next to the amplifier. I'm going to keep it mostly on the multimeter so that you can see that clearly. And like I said, there is no input whatsoever at this moment going to anything. This one is going to the phase 1, and I'm reading just over 4 kilohertz, and this one is going to the phase 2 and it's reading just over 3 kilohertz. Now yesterday I was running an electrical current through the phase 1 and I couldn't get anything to happen with the lights. Right now I have no electrical current. And still nothing's happening. This time though, I want to plug in and start running frequency tones. If you look real close next to the button on the amplifier, I just turned it on and I've got an increase already in kilohertz. Okay, I just turned it on. You can see it flashing. And I'm running at 10 hertz. I'm going to bump it up to 20. There's an increase. I'm going to 30 now. More changes. 40. I'm at 70 now. I'm at 300. I'm at 400 and I can hear a tone coming out of the magnets that's connected with the shaft on the phase 1. I'm at 1,000. Two kilohertz. 2,500 kilohertz. 25 kilohertz. Or 2.5 kilohertz rather, sorry. 3 kilohertz. 4 kilohertz. 5. 6. 7. 10 kilohertz. 12 kilohertz. 15 kilohertz. So at this point it's gone down quite a bit. So it's got a Goldilocks zone. I went back down to 9 kilohertz. Back down to 8 kilohertz. Alright, I shut off the frequency generator app I have on my phone. I still have the amplifier powered up and it's still, as soon as I shut it off, frequency goes down even more. Now I'm touching the light, and the phase 1 is going up in kilohertz, but I have the light trained on the phase 2 power core. So that was something I was getting earlier, and I don't know why it's transferring over to the other one like it's doing. Now I have my hand off, it's dropped back down to 5 kilohertz. My hand's back on it, it's back up to just below 7 kilohertz, but it's not doing anything to the power core that the light is actually focused on. That's got me really confused at this point. If there is any increase on the phase 2, it's not very much at all. And every time I touch it, it affects the phase 1 first before there's any increase to the phase 2. I don't understand why that's happening either. But there's an obvious interchange between both power cores. But as to any kind of relationship with energy and energy transfer, it's acting completely different from what I would expect from any kind of electrical or frequency based system. It's in some ways completely opposite, and in other ways I just don't have any idea what's actually going on. Right now I have absolutely no input whatsoever, and I'm getting kilohertz. And I'll shut both the lights off. They're both off and no change. Now that happened after the steel shaft was introduced into the phase 1. Otherwise, at this point, it should have dropped down to, I don't know, 60 to 90 hertz, but I'm still at 5.3 and 3.2 kilohertz on both of them without lights being trained on them at this point. Eventually, I want to go to the phase 2 and introduce something into its center and see what happens with it, see what kind of effects it has. But at this point, I'm nowhere near ready to do that. And I've got a phase 3 that I've started working on. I've got a few of the coils right over here, but I've got to do some rework on them and still finish all the other coils that are involved with it, and then start putting it together. Any suggestions, anything of that nature would be very helpful at this point.